President Trump just did it again. The stock market continues to rise. Hello, beautiful people. Shalom, moneymakers. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Micron, Nvidia, Palantir, Dell. Dell. You're going to want to hear about Dell as well, Dell stock, and others. All I ask from you is that you give me a beautiful smile to send out those good vibes. Smishity smash that like button because Friday likes are for free. Don't say I don't spoil you, and let's get into it. Please read the disclaimer. So right now, markets are waiting and anticipating to see what's going to happen with the ceasefire deal. Yes deal, no deal. Right now, from the White House, it's coming out, oh, the deal's almost done. But the Iranians are saying that the Trump administration is now desperately requesting agreement multiple times a day through various channels to unilaterally claim the deal has been agreed with Iran, rejecting each of these requests, saying it will not respond until Iran's terms and goals are fully achieved and accepted, which is far from current reality, according to the sources. If you're new to the channel, I think that this whole thing is a facade. It's because of the yields. The 10-year note went over 4.5. Trump had to do something to get it under, and he's just postponing this in order to prolong the situation and get that yield under 4.5%. This happened with the tariffs back in 2025, and it happened that caused the first ceasefire agreement. The same thing is happening once again. But the markets, the stock market, the is looking good. Oil continues to drop. Oil is at 88, so the markets are now looking at the potential of a agreement as something that is high probability. And right now, pre-market, things are looking really good. Asian markets are doing good. South Korea, after dropping yesterday, is now up 3.5%. Nike is up 1.1%. Taiwan market also up 1.25%. So the Asian markets, the East Asian markets are up. If we're looking here, just pre-market, AMD yesterday did 4.5% up. Palantir did 8% after kind of sluggishly, moving over the past few months. Had a really nice day after, I don't know, like 10 or 12 trading days to the side. Micron, 0.5% down. We've talked a lot about Micron on the channel recently. It created a new high, couldn't break that, couldn't get to the 1,000 level, but pre-market, it is up 3% at 950. So we will see. Maybe today, maybe Freaky Friday is the day that Micron stock is able to break that 1,000 level. It will be very interesting to see. Sofi also had a really nice day yesterday, up 5%, potentially jumping over the red line you can see here, which is the 48 EMA, so around the 50 EMA. Also, it will be interesting. If it closes above, that would be a positive situation, but I want continuation. I want to see SoFi cross over there. Maybe tonight we'll do a little bit more deep dive on SoFi and make a whole video about SoFi stock. Interesting. Now also had a big day. A lot of the services, the software companies did really good yesterday. After there was fear, you can see here software stocks like Palantir, Zeta, DDoG, Shop, Snow, Now, Reddit are surging on the same day. Anthropic announced a massive new fundraise and released a new model. The AI is destroying software narrative, maybe starting to break, as usually during a new Anthropic release, software names are punished. And actually yesterday they were popping. So we'll see. Now is another one interesting that could have a big recovery ahead of it. Another one to have on your watch list. SanDisk also up yesterday, 3.25%, so recovered. Again, another one that keeps creating new all-time highs. For SanDisk, another one that is an important one to watch here. Pre-market also up 2%. But again, things can flip. Nvidia continues to kind of show its weakness a little bit. It will be very interesting to see, can it recover today? Again, a lot of money has been circulating out. Retail took a lot of profits last week. We saw about $1 billion in retail money come out, take profit. Could be a lot of it was from Nvidia, and then potentially see where that money eventually goes. That will be very interesting. But again, inflation continues to be super high, super hot, and that could affect what the Fed chairman does. So important that oil drops, important that we get this ceasefire prolonged and oil prices can go down. Now, before we get to Dell, I want to give you a little bit of a something that's maybe concerning, right? Do we have a bubble? So I'm going to ask that question. And then when we get to Dell in just a second, you kind of get an answer on that. The NASDAQ is following the exact pattern as 1999, 95. The NASDAQ climbed toward 1398. Economists turned bearish and called the rally unsustainable. When it reached 2100, the consensus across Wall Street was the market was dangerously overextended and ready to collapse. The NASDAQ did not collapse. It went all the way to 4,800. Then it crashed 80% and wiped out everything. Now, potential this current cycle. NASDAQ bottomed at 8,000 in 2022, climbed to 11,000 in 2025. Economists turned bearish again and called the AI rally a bubble. We then reached it at 21,000. The same consensus emerged across Wall Street. The market was dangerously overextended and ready to collapse. The NASDAQ is now sitting at 30,000. The two charts are not similar. They are identical in structure, the same slow grinding base, the same premature bear calls at every major level, the same vertical acceleration that made every person who called the top likely completely wrong. In 1999, the driver was internet stocks, and the mainstream said that valuations were detached from reality. In 2026, the driver is AI, and the mainstream is saying exactly the same thing. Here's the part you should make deeply uncomfortable. In the dot-com cycle, the biggest and most violent move came after the point where everyone had already called the top. The final leg from 21 to 4,800 happened in under 18 months. The single move created more generational wealth for the people who stayed in and more general destruction for the people who bought at the very peak than any other period in the entire cycle. If the cycle follows the same path, the next zone is somewhere between 40,000 to 50,000 on the NASDAQ before the cycle ends. Nobody knows inside the zone the market finally turns. This is exactly what made 1999 so dangerous and so profitable for the people who understand which part of the cycle we are currently in. Now, if we go to Dell and their earnings, right, President Trump is undefeated in the stock market right now. On May 8th, President Trump told everyone, go out and buy a Dell. 19 days later, on May 27th, Dell was awarded a $9.7 billion contract with the Pentagon. Today, Dell reported stronger than expected earnings and the stock surged 30%. Dell stock is now up 80% since March 8th, adding $120 billion in the market cap. And most of the unexpected earnings was from AI. Now, listen, the current situation is like this. There's going to be many companies that are going to enjoy this AI boom and they're going to enjoy all the money that's coming in. And there's going to be an overflow of new AI companies that are going to get totally overvalued, right? Because they have AI in their name or they're trying to do something related to AI. And those are the companies that I think that might run up irresponsibly and then crash back down significantly like we had in the internet craze. I don't know how many of you were alive back then, but for stories that I've heard from old timers, that were either when I used to be a software developer, if you don't know. So these people were working back then, and they told me that it was just like euphoria. People were just going crazy. Stock options were going through the roof, and everything was amazing. And then, things reversed, and the companies that were good and had a good product and were, important for the internet, they were successful, and the other ones just collapsed. I think the same thing is going to happen here with the AI situation. The big companies, the one that are actually doing stuff, are going to be okay, and the other ones that are selling dreams are not. Okay. The question is going to be, when do we hit the peak? So now there's a lot of investment. There's a lot of money that's flowing into this market. There's a lot of money that is running to these markets, the AI markets. The question is going to be, right, what are going to be the stocks that are going to have the best outcome? And when are we going to hit a peak where the money starts shrinking? And that's when potentially when the earnings start coming out and the CEO starts saying, well, next quarter we see there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, or we're pulling back on our AI expenditure, right? That's when we could see a violent move towards the downside for the AI quote unquote bubble. And that's when it might pop. But until then, I think that if we're looking at the forward, the next 6 months, the party is going to continue. Again, there can always be a pullback, because of just anything. Any headline can sell the market off 10, 15%. We have to be ready for that. As always, I just want to remind you, videos for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. Also, if you've not yet subscribed to the channel, now's the time to do so. And don't forget to smash that like button. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. And like I always say, let's make a lot of money.